Welcome back to Oshkosh Today. Thanks so much for joining us. And now we've got our first finalist for the Student Athlete Friends of OCM Student Athlete of the Year Scholarship. Two very well-respected titles, and many high school students have applied for this award. We've narrowed it down to 6 finalists, and over the next 6 months, we'll have them each into the studio to interview, telling us why they deserve one of these two $1,000 scholarships. So we've got our first guest here, our first Student Athlete of the Year Scholarship finalist, Keoni Bailey, and Coach Matt Callahan here. So, gentlemen, thank you both so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
So, Keoni, we were so impressed with your application. First in your class at Oshkosh West. Not to mention a laundry list of additional things that you're doing: soccer, clubs, just a long list of things. So you're a very busy guy. Great job with that. We'll start with your history in sports. You played basketball your freshman year?
Yes.
And but really it seems like your passion is soccer. How long have you been playing soccer for?
I've been playing soccer since as long as I basically can walk. I mean, I was jealous of my sister because I have an older sister that about 4 years older than me, and I used to go to her games and would sit with my parents. I'm like, I want to be out there, I want to be out there. And so I was a little bit jealous to start, but I started very, very young, probably 4 or 5 years old.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And the rest is history.
The rest is, yeah.
And you've ended up at the club level. You went from the club level back to high school soccer. What was that transition like? Was that a hard decision to make, and why did you make it?
Well, I played for FC Wisconsin for 2 years, which is an academy level team, which a lot of people don't know what that means exactly. Basically what it is it's run by the USSDA, and it's really the only team in the state that plays at that level. And it's run by, the USSDA is the United States Soccer Developmental Academy. And so basically we travel throughout the Midwest, and our games were anyway from Minneapolis to Columbus, Ohio, to Chicago. And then every once in a while we go to Florida for a showcase, or to Texas. So it was a very high level competition, best coaches, coaching staff. A lot of them were college players and college coaches.
Yeah.
So I really gained a lot of experience, but then along the way I came back to high school because I did miss playing with my best friends, and I missed kind of that local mentality that goes with playing for your school.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal to play for, a group like that, an organization like that, and a lot of traveling. Holy cow.
Yeah, there's a big commitment.
Throughout the year. And so what better time to come back to your hometown and, play with your friends than senior year?
Yes.
And we have Matt Callahan, your soccer coach here. Matt, you've had the pleasure of working with Keoni for the past year or so. What can you say about him as a soccer player that he is really an asset to the team this year?
It was great getting him back. We didn't mind that at all. It was a good surprise, and he's really a phenomenal soccer player. We were lucky to have someone that had as much experience as he has join our program. I'd known Keoni when he was 9 and 10 years old at the youth level, and had gotten to see him develop a little bit throughout the years. And so when he came back, he was a great job. He was a senior captain, first team all-conference in the Fox Valley Association. He was a great leader on and off the field.
Wonderful. And, some people would think that the transition from such a high level to the high school level, not that it's any, difference in height or skill or anything like that, but to have a new player coming in the senior year, was that kind of a tough transition, or do you think he really melded back in pretty easily?
He came back in and did just great. I had a conversation with Keoni before the season and said, it is going to be quite a difference for you coming from, competing nationally to playing, in Neenah up the road. But, he came in, he did a great job. His teammates voted him to be a captain, which I thought really demonstrated that they looked up to him, figuratively and literally. And, he did a great job.
Wonderful. And what about as a person? What have you seen in Keoni, in his personality qualities that you feel are noteworthy?
He's absolutely a quiet leader, and he does a lot off the field as well. In terms of community service, 2 years ago he wasn't involved with our program at the time, and he was out there during the summer volunteering, to help run one of our soccer camps, and he got involved a lot outside of the sport as well, which I thought was great for him as a person.
Definitely. And speaking of a quiet leader, Keoni, you in your essay noted that, you know, actions speak so much louder than words when it comes to any titles or anything like that. You have a lot of titles ranging from soccer captain, volunteer, you volunteer at Mercy Medical Center,
Yes.
A mentor, and even a newspaper editor. Again, you're such a busy guy. How do you make sure that living up to all those titles really prove that your actions speak louder than words?
I think a big part of it is that I concentrate on quality a lot more than I concentrate on quantity. I mean, you look at the list and it might seem long, but from day to day, if you're like, my mom always tells me, think about it one step at a time, and I really took that to heart. And there is times where it's stressful, but I think that, you know, if you think about what you're doing while you're doing it, it becomes a lot easier to make it good and make it the best you can. And that's how I've taken sports and everything I learned from being on a team to my academics and then volunteering now. So I think I've really kind of struck hopefully a balance. That's what I'm trying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but yeah, I think I owe a lot to my parents for that.
Yes, and great advice to live by, you know, taking it one step at a time. And we got to ask you what your plans are after high school. I know you were thinking about going into the medical field.
Yeah, my dad was in the military for 20 plus years, and it is a dream of mine to be a physician in the military, and so that's obviously a lot of schooling, and it's a little scary considering that's 10 or so more years, but next year, starting small like again, hopefully attending like Marquette or some other 4-year college.
Wonderful, and then eventually getting into that military setting. Do you plan on continuing to play soccer in college?
I hope so, at least at the intramural level, if not club.
Yes, and I know your coach would love to see you at the college level as well.
Absolutely.
So, Keoni, we have a certificate of achievement for you as being one of our finalists for the 2014-2015 Oshkosh Student Athlete of the Year Scholarship. So here is that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Best of luck moving forward here in your final year of high school in soccer and in all your other activities. So
Thank you.
Thanks again for joining us. And Matt, thank you as well.
Thank you very much.